Hello and welcome back to goldstocktrades.com. Today we have a new and special guest with us, Brian Soluschark. Brian is president of K92 Mining, which can be traded as KNT on the TSX Venture and as KNTNF on the US OTC. Thanks, Brian, for being here with us today.
Jeb, thanks a lot for having me on.
Brian, the question that a lot of investors are dealing with is we just saw a major election out of the U.S. We've seen a little bit of a sell-off in the junior gold miners over the past few months, and a little sell-off in the precious metals after the election. How do you see the current market in precious metals? How is that affecting some of your long-term planning at K92 Mining?
Well, Jeb, when we acquired the asset for K92, we acquired an asset that we thought would work really well in a lower gold price environment, even though we're very bullish on gold. And remember, in our recent preliminary economic assessment on the Kora deposit that was issued, we reported estimates of $619 an ounce, all in sustaining costs as the production profile. So if gold is at $750, this is still a compelling situation. Now, we don't believe that gold's going to go anywhere near that level. We're very bullish on gold, and it makes the project that much more attractive. As far as recent action in gold, hasn't impacted our long-term planning, one, because of that very low cost, lowest quartile in the industry, in fact, that we're targeting. At the same time, I think from a macro level, the gold market didn't react immediately to the election as some pundits thought that it might, and because it didn't react in the way that many in the industry thought it would react to President-elect Trump victory, gold went the other way. As you know, these markets, whether they're equity markets or commodity markets, trade a whole lot on emotion, and they usually overswing either to the upside and downside. And I think we're just getting an overswing to the downside here, and gold looks to me to be oversold.
Yeah, I happen to agree, Brian. You mentioned in your previous answer the PEA that K92 published on its Kora deposit. I mean, you showed their positive cash flow of 558 million US over 9 years and an internal rate of return of 113%. That's pretty impressive numbers there. Could you highlight the PEA and sort of emphasize where this could be successful project even in this low cost in a lower cost environment?
Absolutely, Jeb. And when we started out, to give listeners a little bit of background, we started out to do two things. One, get our Iruma-Fimpa gold deposit into production. And we've done that. We're now in production at the Iruma-Fimpa deposit, ahead of schedule, on budget, and we're producing gold now as we speak. Our second and concurrent focus with that was to assess the second deposit that's coming online, and that's the Kora deposit that you mentioned. Now, Kora is only 700 meters away from Iruma-Fimpa, so this is right next door. At Kora, we've just conducted the economic analysis, the preliminary economic assessment of bringing Kora into production. As you mentioned, what the results of that analysis lay out is a situation through which we have $558 million in cash flow over 9 years, 113% internal rate of return. It gives us a net present value using a discount of 5 of $415 million will produce at Kora, according to these estimates, 108,000 ounces per year gold equivalent. Now, at Iruma-Thimpa, we're targeting 52,000 ounces per year, and we're in production at Iruma-Thimpa now. What Kora does is it provides clear visibility, a clear path to production growth. Now, we just had a research report out that was very interesting, and what it noted was that based on Kora alone, we're trading at a significant discount in valuation to our peer group. Our peer group is trading at approximately an average of 0.8 to net asset value. Based on our Kora deposit alone, we're trading at closer to 0.4 of our net asset value. So that gives us a big gap, a 2x gap up, just to normalize with the peer group average. Now, on top of that, Jeb, because we've given such clear visibility on the production growth that we're targeting, it's also important to note that that same peer group will show, on average, a target of 21% growth rate between 2017 and 2019, whereas we're closer to 200%. So not only are we trading at half the peer group average based on our net asset value today, but we're also growing at a rate of 10x versus that same peer group. So we're really excited about the situation we're in.
And, you know, what's interesting, Brian, you've commenced production, you came out with this PEA, and K92 is trading as the cheapest it's been since it became publicly traded. So for value investors, this is, pretty interesting, especially when you look at all the investment that has been made on the K92 Gold Project. Could you kind of highlight the amount of investment that has gone into this project by not only K92, but by your predecessor, Barrick?
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeb, as you know, we purchased this asset from Barrick Gold when Barrick was saddled with $13 billion in debt worldwide, and we're going through a big corporate divestiture mandate. We were one of the only groups at the time looking for gold assets, and we were able to purchase this asset from Barrick. Now, Barrick had previously purchased this asset in 2007 for $141 million. There was subsequently in the neighborhood of $100 million invested into the project. And because we were able to purchase a project that had had such heavy capital investment in advancing that project, we were able to acquire something that had an existing mill, existing processing facilities, a 350-person camp, existing underground infrastructure at the high-grade gold mine, dedicated power line, roadways, etc. So we were able to acquire something that was relatively turnkey, finance the project privately, and make some refurbishments to the mill and the mine, make a couple of enhancements to the mill and the mine, and with that, bring the project into production in a very fast manner versus what people normally expect. And because of the fact we acquired so much infrastructure, we've been able to move into production quickly. And now we not only have gold production, but we have all of that upside. I think it's really interesting to note, Jeb, that just a few days after we acquired this project from Barrick, a guy named Alex Davidson, the former executive vice president of Barrick Gold in charge of exploration and corporate development worldwide, joined the K92 team. And I think that's indicative of what the technical minds at Barrick thought about this project. It was rated extremely highly internally. So K92 was very fortunate to be out looking for gold assets when, quite frankly, nobody wanted gold assets. And that's how, over the long term, you make money in this business, taking that contrarian perspective, and we've benefited from it greatly.
Yes, it's interesting that Alex Davidson, who is the former executive vice president of Barrick and is an advisor to K92, said that the K92 project is one of the most prospective in Papua New Guinea. Can you talk to us about the high-grade nature and these impressive upside potential here with this project? Because, when you're getting this sort of a guy like Alex joining, there must be some sort of upside potential here with the project. I wonder if you can highlight that for us.
Absolutely. And I think that quote from Alex is very interesting because he's not talking about a part of the world. When he calls this one of the most prospective in the entire country, he's not talking about a country that has a lack of good mining assets. This country is known by the moniker land of large mines. This country has some of the biggest gold mines in the world. So when Alex says that, I think it's not to be taken lightly. Now, the K92 project is very high grade. We know it's very high grade. You've got 1.84 million ounces at 11.6 grams per ton, inferred 240,000 ounces, 13.3 grams. These gold equivalent numbers are big, high-grade numbers. And we also know it has real size just through those tonnage numbers alone. Now, outside of what we already know, and remember that net present value, that PEA on Kora that I talked about, that's based just on what's known now. But the fact is that Kora is not only open for expansion in every direction, but it's strongly mineralized at the extent of all drilling. So Kora has the potential to get significantly larger. Now, Barrick had drilled Kora from the top of the mountain, so to speak, and to drill it at depth, those were big, long, deep holes. The deepest hole ever drilled at Kora intersected a big, thick cut of mineralization 350 meters below the known ore body. Now, what we're going to be able to do is test that deposit at depth through short, inexpensive, and quick-to-drill holes because we'll be drilling from underground setups. As we move from Irumafimpa production into production at Kora, we'll be accessing Kora via an underground incline drive. Well, the benefit of that is threefold. Not only do we get backfill material for Irumafimpa, but we also get access to Kora, which we need for production. But thirdly, it also provides a platform underground to set up underground drill testing of the untested area between Irumafimpa and Kora. So when we talk about this deposit as potentially having 6, 7, 8 million ounces, it's a real untested potential. Now, if we never drill another hole at K92, it's still exceptionally compelling based on the existing net present value, the existing results of the PEA that we talked about, the production profile, the visibility of production growth, etc. But what attracted Barrick to this project in the first place? And Barrick doesn't purchase assets that it thinks will be small. They're looking for world-class size and world-class grade. What attracted Barrick to this project in the first place exists today, and we're going to be the first company to ever test what we believe is simply world-class size and world-class grade potential.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, for taking time out of your busy schedule for being here with us today. Brian Shark, President, K92 Mining, which can be traded as KNT on the TSX Venture and as KNTNF on the